So as you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning. Like, Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them.
Caitlin Clark, the new face of the WNBA, has been setting the league on fire. Her arrival has meant record-shattering ratings, sold-out arenas, and millions of new fans. But with her star power has come intense scrutiny, and when a questionable game against the New York Liberty turned into a national embarrassment, the fallout was immediate.
They've done a great job of rigging this. They've done a great job of rigging this league. The league, they're not even being subtle. They're not even being subtle. Oh my God, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing.
On May 18th, 2025, the Indiana Fever faced the New York Liberty. It was supposed to be another highlight for Clark, but what happened instead was a night of officiating so poor that it trended worldwide. Missed calls, phantom fouls, and a final buzzer beater overshadowed by controversy.
The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like, when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss some.
The league moved fast, suspending the entire officiating crew of that game. It was a rare move. Usually, referee mistakes are quietly dealt with. But this time, the stakes were too high. League insiders say the decision was fueled by the media firestorm and the fact that Caitlin Clark's every move is under a microscope.
I can't believe what I'm about to say. The Indiana Fever, with the strongest, loudest, most intimidating home court advantage in all the WNBA, just got robbed at home. I saw it with my own two eyes live on CBS.
But the suspensions weren't enough. According to multiple sources, including ESPN's Ramona Shelburne, team owners and executives demanded more. They feared the league was losing credibility, just as Caitlin Clark was making it a national conversation. So, Engelbert became the scapegoat, forced to resign in what many see as a desperate move to protect the league's image.
Pointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I felt like at times our late game execution was good, and I consider most of the latter half of the fourth quarter, because it was a tight ball game.
This isn't the first time the WNBA has faced an officiating crisis. In 2023, Angel Reese was ejected in a controversial game that sparked weeks of debate. Lexi Hull publicly criticized officiating inconsistencies last season. Even head coach Stephanie White has spoken out about refs overshadowing the game.
Another year and another case of WNBA referees dropping the ball, not making the right calls when it comes to Caitlin Clark.
Social media exploded after the Liberty Fever game. Hashtags like #JusticeForClark and #WNBRefs were trending. Caitlin Clark's fans weren't just angry. They were calling for a complete overhaul of how the league does business. Caitlin Clark isn't just a player, she's a phenomenon. In her rookie year alone, she's driven up TV ratings by 40%, packed stadiums coast to coast, and made every Fever game a must-see event. The league's revenue is at an all-time high, and the pressure to protect that momentum is enormous. The WNBA has always had rivalries, but Caitlin Clark's arrival has poured gasoline on the fire. Her intense battles with Angel Reese and Lexi Hull have become headline stories. Even off the court, the tension is real. Reese's viral comment after a Fever game, "We're not here for Caitlin's highlight reel," ignited a firestorm. Now, the WNBA is scrambling to reassure fans and players. New officiating guidelines are reportedly in the works. A new interim commissioner is set to take over next month. But for Caitlin Clark, the question is simple. Will the league finally give her the fair shot she's earned? All eyes now turn to Caitlin Clark's next showdown on June 1st against the Connecticut Sun. Will the officiating be any different? Will the new commissioner address the scandal head-on? One thing is certain. This story is far from over. So, what do you think? Did the WNBA do the right thing suspending refs and forcing out their commissioner? Or is this just another example of a league that still doesn't know how to handle its brightest stars? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for the latest WNBA news and analysis. Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hall, Stephanie White, and the entire Indiana Fever caught in a storm of missed calls and phantom fouls that ignited a wildfire across the WNBA. But what started as one controversial game has now brought the league's top boss to her knees. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert suspended. How did a routine matchup turn into the league's biggest scandal in years? Let's break it down. This was supposed to be a highlight reel night for the Indiana Fever. A sold-out crowd, playoff atmosphere, and Caitlin Clark facing the defending champs. But what fans witnessed was something else entirely, a game overshadowed by referees who seemed determined to decide the outcome themselves. From the opening tip, it was clear. The Fever's every move was met with a whistle. Clark got hacked again, and again, nothing. Lexi Hall's textbook defense called for a phantom foul, and as the Liberty lived at the free throw line, fans could barely believe what they were seeing. Caitlin Clark didn't need to say much. Her body language said it all. The disbelief in her eyes, the frustration in her voice, the exhaustion of fighting not just her opponent, but the officials too. The WNBA is at a crossroads. Caitlin Clark has brought millions of new fans to the game, but those fans are seeing a league that feels rigged, unfair, and out of touch. If the WNBA wants to keep its momentum and those new fans, it has to fix this officiating crisis fast. Some say Engelbert became the scapegoat for a league trying to protect its image. Others believe her suspension was long overdue. But either way, this is the biggest shakeup in WNBA history, and the players know it. But that's not all. Rumors are swirling that some team owners and league executives have been quietly pushing for Engelbert's removal for weeks, and when stars like Caitlin Clark started voicing frustration, it became impossible to ignore. Then came the real shocker. In an unprecedented move, the WNBA suspended Commissioner Cathy Engelbert.
Why?
Internal reports say she ignored months of officiating complaints from players, coaches, and fans until it finally exploded. Fans aren't blind. From Kennedy Carter's off-ball hit to the Liberty's endless trips to the line, it's not a one-off. It's a pattern. And that's exactly what fans, players, and coaches have been calling out for weeks. And if you think it's just emotions talking, think again. The Indiana Fever are a shocking -31 in free throw differential this season. That's not a typo. That's a stat that decides games. The WNBA is in chaos. In a shocking twist, the league's commissioner has been forced out after an explosive scandal involving Caitlin Clark and controversial referee calls. Millions of new fans are watching, demanding answers. But how did it come to this? Let's uncover the real story behind the headlines. What do you think? Was this just one bad night for the officials, or is the entire WNBA at risk of losing its credibility? Let us know in the comments below, and don't forget to like and subscribe for the latest updates on this story. Because if the league doesn't fix this now, the damage could be permanent. In the world of the WNBA, a recent controversy involving Caitlin Clark, Lexi Hall, and Stephanie White has not only shaken the very foundations of women's basketball, but has also ignited an unprecedented storm across social media, sports commentary, and public opinion, starting with what initially appeared to be a minor oversight by a referee during a high-stakes game. An oversight that soon snowballed into a massive scandal enveloping the entire league and raising questions about the integrity of its decision-making processes, as Caitlin Clark, already a rising star, celebrated for her relentless drive, remarkable skill, and undeniable impact on the court, found herself at the center of this whirlwind, her every move scrutinized by fans and critics alike, with Lexi Hall, her dedicated teammate and one of the fiercest competitors in the league, stepping forward to publicly support Clark, using her interviews and social media platforms to highlight the injustices she felt were being swept under the rug by the league's leadership, while Stephanie White, a respected coach and former player known for her outspoken views on issues of fairness and transparency, added fuel to the fire by issuing a series of statements that cut straight to the heart of the matter, arguing that this was not just about one bad call or one bad night, but rather a symptom of systemic problems within the WNBA's officiating and leadership structures, problems that, if left unaddressed, could erode not only the trust of the players, but the very credibility of the league itself, a sentiment that resonated far and wide as more and more fans took to Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok to express their outrage and disappointment, flooding comment sections with hashtags and video clips demanding accountability and reform, while in the boardrooms of the WNBA's upper management, whispers of an internal investigation began to circulate, though no official statements were forthcoming for several tense weeks, during which the media speculated endlessly about possible outcomes and the potential fallout for all involved, as Lexi Hull and Caitlin Clark continued to stand shoulder to shoulder, refusing to let the narrative be twisted or the story silenced, and Stephanie White, ever the veteran voice of reason, pushed for more than just apologies, calling for real change, real consequences, and a thorough examination of the power structures that had allowed such a lapse in judgment to go unchecked for so long, a call that was echoed by countless players past and present who saw in this controversy a chance to finally address long-standing issues of fairness and respect for the athletes who give everything to this game, even as league officials tried to manage the growing PR nightmare, with rumors flying that the WNBA commissioner might be quietly forced out as a sacrificial gesture to appease the angry masses, though no confirmation came, and the commissioner's silence only fueled the speculation further, especially after a leaked recording of a closed-door meeting suggested that certain league executives were more concerned with damage control than with genuine reform, a revelation that left many fans feeling betrayed and disillusioned, yet paradoxically more engaged than ever before, as if the raw honesty of the moment had peeled back the polite facade of professional sports to reveal the messy, deeply human struggles underneath. And amid this chaos, Caitlin Clark herself broke her silence in a carefully choreographed press conference that, while brief, spoke volumes, her calm and measured words carrying the weight of both her own experience and the hopes of everyone who believed in her, as she declared her intention to keep playing the game she loved with everything she had, no matter what obstacles lay in her path. A declaration that was met with thunderous applause from fans who saw in her resilience a symbol of something bigger than basketball. A testament to the power of conviction in the face of adversity, while behind the scenes, Lexi Hull worked tirelessly to amplify that message, giving interviews in which she recounted the behind-the-scenes conversations and the unwavering belief she and Clark shared that they were fighting not just for themselves, but for every player who had ever been dismissed or disrespected by those in power. And as the days turned into weeks, the media narrative evolved, shifting from questions of who was to blame to deeper reflections on what kind of league the WNBA wanted to be in the years ahead, with Stephanie White's early criticisms now being held up as prophetic, her voice cutting through the noise with a clarity that was impossible to ignore, and fans rallying around her insistence that this could be a turning point if only the league had the courage to see it through. A sentiment that was underscored by the surge in ticket sales and viewership numbers as people tuned in to see how the saga would unfold. Proof that controversy, for better or worse, has a way of captivating audiences and forcing conversations that might otherwise be pushed aside. And yet beneath all the headlines and hashtags, there was a quieter, more personal story unfolding as well. The story of how this controversy had brought Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hull even closer together, forging a bond of trust and solidarity that would outlast the news cycle, and how Stephanie White's willingness to speak truth to power had cemented her status as not just a coach, but a mentor and advocate for the next generation of players, a dynamic that, in its own way, offered a glimmer of hope that even the most entrenched systems can be challenged, that even the most cynical of observers might be moved by the sight of athletes standing up for what they believe in. And as the league finally began to respond with promises of new training protocols and improved oversight for referees, the conversation shifted once more from outrage to cautious optimism, as fans and players alike waited to see if these promises would be kept or if they would prove to be nothing more than another empty gesture. And through it all, Caitlin Clark remained the face of the controversy, her every move dissected by pundits and fans, her every word parsed for hidden meaning, yet she seemed to thrive in the spotlight, turning each interview into an opportunity to reaffirm her commitment to the game and to her teammates, a commitment That resonated deeply with fans who saw in her not just a superstar athlete, but a leader, someone who could inspire others to dream bigger and fight harder, even when the odds were stacked against them. And in this way, what began as a single missed call in a single game had grown into something much larger, a conversation about integrity and accountability, about the role of athletes in shaping the culture of their sport, and about the power of community to demand better from those in charge. A conversation that shows no signs of ending anytime soon, because as long as there are players like Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hull and coaches like Stephanie White willing to speak out, there will always be hope that the game can be made better, that the injustices of the past need not define the future, and that every time the ball tips off, it carries with it not just the promise of competition, but the possibility of something far greater, something that transcends the scoreboard and speaks to the very heart of why we play in the first place.